On this week's episode, fire! Yes, there was another fire, and this time it was at the Mickey and Friends parking structure. We've got all the current info, plus a few choice words for the usual complainers. Speaking of complainers, Disneyland admission prices went up, but not as much as you'd expect. AP Days has begun, and we were there to check it out. More positive than negatives this time, but always room for improvement. Also, Beauty and the Beast invades Fantasyland. John Williams gets another award. Soundsational returns, and more on this smoky episode of the MousePIRE Podcast. Hi, I'm Anthony.
I'm Shadow. I'm Diggs.
And welcome to MousePIRE, your source for Star Wars, Disney, and everything in between. This is the podcast where both empires collide.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
What is this?
Ole! It's showtime!
All together in the tiki room. All the birds sing words and the flowers croon. In the tiki room.
Made you look.
It didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning.
Fire!
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
I wasn't there.
Once again, there's fire at the Disneyland Resort. What's going on?
I don't know. That place is... Something's happening. That place is falling apart. Because
I think it's Hades.
not only did we see a report of there being another fire at Little Mermaid, which is unsubstantiated,
Yes.
there was an actual fire at Mickey and Friends parking.
Yeah, so the parking structure did not catch on fire. Let's just make that straight. There was no actual fire that was caught on the structure, but there was a car that caught on fire.
Concrete does not burn.
Well, there's probably some wood in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But anyway, there was a car that caught on fire around 4:30 or so, and I actually got a message from one of our followers from our SoCal Disneyland Annual Pass Holders Unite page.
No, we're just real quick. We're talking about Monday the 13th.
Right. So I got a message saying there was a fire over at the parking structure. So I asked her for pictures, and she sent me a couple of pictures saying that's the only picture she was able to take. I said, okay, that's cool, that's fine. And then, of course, I went and posted it up, and then the news got the wind of it, and it's on the news, and at that time, it was like 4 cars on fire, and then 5 cars, and 6 cars, and well, you know what? If you're inside a parking structure and 1 car's on fire and you're parked next to it,
move.
Either that or chances are your car's going to be involved in the fire, which really sucks. I'm not laughing at the fact that people's cars got on fire.
Hell no.
I'm not laughing at that, but just saying that, you know what? It's really sad that happened. As of right now, we haven't heard what the cause of the fire was. There was a report saying basically it could have been an electric car caught on fire. And we know those batteries are really, if something was faulty with the car and the battery, that could have caused the fire. But like I said, that's what someone said, but it's not confirmed.
If that's what it was, I'll tell you what, they're going to need more than just a battery now.
Oh, yeah. But during the investigation, they said it was like
arson.
Yeah, it wasn't arson. It wasn't foul play or anything like that. So that's why they're thinking maybe, the battery caught on fire and the car caught on fire and all the cars next to it caught on fire. But I believe there were 8 cars total.
I saw 9, but okay.
8 or 9 cars that actually caught on fire. And there was reports that there were some cast members that had smoke
Inhalation.
And
I heard 4.
there was like 8, and 4 were taken to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
That's what the report was. And they said approximately $180,000 in damage for those vehicles and the contents of the vehicles. Really, really sad. And like I said, no way we're making fun of people's cars catching on fire, but just glad that actually no one was really seriously injured or hurt or anything like that. But now we're going to get to some complainers. Let me just start this way. If there's any type of emergency, and I'm not talking about at Disneyland, I'm talking about anywhere. If, let's just say, you are a house in your neighborhood caught on fire, and there's emergency vehicles around your house, and you cannot get to your house, well, I'm sorry.
You're not in charge of your house no more.
Right.
First of all.
You can't get to your house because, you know what? They're trying to put out a fire. And the next thing that happens after the fire is put out, it's time to investigate the fire. How did this start? Exactly what was going on over at Mickey and Friends parking structure. And we didn't mention, but it was actually on the level 2, which was Daisy. And it was actually in the back, the north side, I guess you would say north side, which is on the, like the very far end from the trams. It was in that area on the second level, Daisy parking lot.
That drives with the... did you see the video?
I saw a lot of videos.
Oh, because I saw a video of someone that was on one of the crosswalks and shooting down to where the big ramp is, and you could just see the smoke pouring out of the north side of the parking structure, so you could definitely tell it was there.
Yeah, so I got one of the pictures I got was from that.
That does explain why it was all cast members that were affected, because obviously there's an office over on that side.
Okay. So I'm just saying, you know what? Any type of emergency like that, investigation has to happen, and they're not going to let people in that area. So, of course, a lot of people were affected by this who were trying to get to their cars, trying to get to the parking structure. I saw a video from the news, and there was just thousands of people just sitting there waiting. And there was actually they filmed the cast members saying, "You guys do not need to actually leave right now. Please just return to Disneyland," things like that. People were asking, "Hey, how long is it going to be?" And cast members were basically saying about 2 to 3 hours. Okay, now if this was me, and I was parked at Mickey and Friends, and I need to get to my car to go or whatever, and they said, "You know what? You guys can't get in there right now. It's going to be 2 to 3 hours." First thing I would do is go back to Disneyland, because, like I said, it was 4:30. It took them about a half hour to put out the fire. So if you're there at 5 or 6 o'clock and you're trying to leave, park, I believe, closed at 10 yesterday, and they got to do their jobs. So you know what? I would have all right, I'm going back to Disneyland. It's only 5 o'clock. It's only 6 o'clock. It's only 7 o'clock. Whatever time it was, go back to Disneyland, enjoy yourself. Or since it was, dinner time, downtown Disney, go Earl Sandwich. Yes. Go eat some food over there, get fat. You can't control the situation. Okay. At that time, the Anaheim Police Department and Anaheim Fire Department are in charge of what's going on. Disney has no control of what's going on, and the fire department and police department is going to say, keep the people away from this area right now. And Disney is going to do that. So we have people complaining.
The entitled people.
Complaining, "Oh, I can't get to my car. I'm cold. My jacket's in my car."
Disneyland should do this for us. Disneyland should do that for us.
They should give us free hot chocolate. They should open up a room at the hotel to get all of us in there.
They should give us blankets.
Oh my God.
Oh no, I had to go over to the hotel and spend $80 or whatever it was on a sweatshirt. These are actual posts from people.
Now, let's just, you are out there and you're trying to get to your car and you can't. You're cold. Let me see, what am I going to do? I can go back to Disneyland. I can go chill in. If you're an annual pass holder, you go over to You could have got a wristband and go into the Lincoln, watch something, the movie they're showing right now. You can go into the shops, sit there for a while. You know what's really warm? An area that's really warm that you can sit? The exit of Space Mountain. That is probably really warm when it's cold.
You know what's really warm? The frickin' hotel. Without being invited over by Disney or being given a room, you could still have gone to the hotel.
Especially the Grand Californian. You can go over there, sit in the lobby, chill there for a little bit. Oh, you know what? You're hungry? Go to Whitewater Snacks.
Ooh.
Yeah, all these people complaining they're cold and they can't get to their cars and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, obviously they weren't thinking, and the only thing they were thinking is, oh, Disney should do this for us. Disney should do that for us. I mean, hello. They don't need to do anything for you, okay? Just because some cars caught on fire, all of a sudden Disney is responsible for your convenience. No, I don't think so. I understand it's, they did the best they can do. And I did hear there were some of the guest relation cast members over there. Don't actually know what they were doing. Like if they, people were complaining to them. I don't know what they did for anybody, but you know what? I'm pretty sure that they did the best they could for the situation at the time. And people just want to complain and complain because they want hot chocolate. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like when people are like, oh, I didn't get my free hot chocolate. I didn't get a blanket. I didn't get a jacket. I saw a post was kind of funny saying that they could just go to the store, buy a jacket, and when they were able to go back to their cars, go return the jacket. You know what I mean? Which is kind of smart. You say, oh, we don't need this after all. They're not going to know as long as you don't go near the fire and get soot on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I just don't believe these people who are complaining. And, there was, like I said, I saw the video footage of thousands of people at the structure trying to get in and they couldn't at the time. Like I said, if it was me, I would have been, okay, I'm back at Disneyland. And then Disneyland today did tweet out saying the structure was closed and diverting people to Toy Story. And then they did tweet out that the structure's open, but the Daisy parking was still closed. And then they did tweets saying that the Daisy's open and all that kind of stuff, and the parking structure is open. So if I would have received that tweet, I was parked there, I would have looked at the tweet saying, okay, it's open. There's thousands of people over there. I'm still going to wait because now people are complaining that they're stuck in traffic trying to get out. Well, what do you think is going to happen when you have thousands of people trying to get out at the same time? Yeah, so I don't know. People just want to complain. People just want to go and probably go to City Hall and try to get something out of it.
You're stupid.
Exactly. Well, obviously, they're not thinking about the people whose cars just caught on fire and they can't go anywhere now. Now they're stranded. Now they got to figure out how they're going to get home. And I'm not going to mention this person's name, but he basically said, well, they have insurance. How is insurance going to get them home? The insurance is going to cover their loss. The insurance is going to cover being towed. But you know what? If you're going to call the tow truck to come tow your car, you have to pay for it now. You don't get reimbursed until later. So now you got to dig out money out of your pocket when you just spent the whole day at Disneyland spending all the money there. Now you got to come up with some more money to tow your car. If you take a taxi home, is the insurance going to pay for that? I don't think so. If they do, you still got to pay for it then. I saw a post saying...
And what if they're one of those people is visiting from far away?
Exactly. And I did see a post about, my insurance will cover a rental car and they would also pick me up.
And none of that stuff is really the point. These people lost property. If these people were doing any kind of traveling, they had shit in the car.
Yeah.
Shit that's probably irreplaceable. I mean, we talked about when Rebecca and I went to San Francisco and had a suitcase stolen. That was one item. That was one thing. That was clothes. What if these people are traveling and all their clothes just got burned up? What if they were like in between hotels? They were like, okay, we checked out a hotel, go to Disneyland, we're gonna travel, check in the next hotel. All their stuff is burned up now. How does that make you feel now, complaining about that you're in the cold? Your car's still there with your shit still in it, isn't it? Well, you know what? Their shit just burned up. How do you feel about that?
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
the dick now? Under no circumstances, while other people's property and cars are being burned up and employees are having to go to the hospital, should you have any right to complain about anything? You should just accept things for what they are and just shut your mouth.
I just can't believe some of these people who just want this, want that, because they're inconvenienced, where you have, if it was 8 cars, 9 cars, whatever it was, that are damaged, and these people have to figure out what they're going to do now. I would love to find out what happened with those people, and how they got home, or if anything actually happened, and maybe if Disney actually hey, we'll pay for a cab or whatever it was. I would like to find that out if I can, but
that's okay. They're the same people that are complaining about a few dollar increase in ticket prices. Oh, but wait, we'll get to that in a minute.
yes. So yeah, these people, they lost their cars. They lost, whatever was inside, which is really, really sad. And we just have people who just want to complain and try to get things out of other people's misery. It's just really sad. And I'm pretty sure a lot of those were annual pass holders, or as they like to call them, pass holes, who just want everything handed to them. I hate the fact that there's annual pass holders like that who can't understand things and things that happen, and they just need to wait. That just gives us a bad name. I've been a pass holder for 27 years, and I've never, ever once went, oh, you guys need to give me this, and I've been a pass holder this long, and I should get this, and da-da-da-da. I've never been.
We could, but...
Yeah, we could be like that, but we don't go up to the city hall and complain. We
could.
Yeah, but if we ever do go up there and complain, it's going to be for something that's, legitimate.
I got at least over 30 items for City Hall, but you know what? A, we forgot what they are. And B, that's not what we do.
But one more thing I just want to add to this. I was saying if I parked at Mickey and Friends, I would have done this and I would have done that. But you know what? I don't park there. I park at Toy Story. So if you parked at Toy Story,
nothing would be happening.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to complain about anything because, hey.
You'd be on your way home.
Yeah, there's many places. There's different ways to get out of the Toy Story parking lot. And yeah. Anyway, I'm not allowed to tell people about Toy Story anymore. I was told not to tell people to park over there. So yeah, don't park over there.
Who said that?
Dan Reyes. So yeah, don't park over there.
What? Toy Story? I never heard of it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bye.
All right, so yeah, last episode we did say something was going to happen on Sunday. There's all these rumors going around about price increase and taking payments away from annual pass holders. And people saying, oh, well, I believe that rumor is true because this site said it and they're always right. No, they're not always right.
Nobody ever believes us when we say it, and it actually does happen.
So yeah, prices went up on Sunday, but you know what?
Hey, we got scooped by Channel 7.
Yes. And it wasn't that much of an increase.
No, it was actually pretty, I don't know. It makes me think there's going to be another increase, but...
Could be. So, yeah.
It guarantees that the fall increase is going to be not good.
Don't say that yet. So, yeah. Let's just start with something we didn't know, that parking was going up, and parking did go up from $18 to $20, just like we said. But preferred parking did not go up. It's still $35.
Oh.
But the other parking did go up. But I don't know. I don't think people really care about the other parking because I don't think they bring in semis and stuff like that. I don't know. But let's get to...
I do it all the time.
Let's get to the park prices. One park tickets. All right. So the value day was $95 for a one park ticket, and it went up to $97. The regular park day ticket went from $105 to $110, and the peak went from $119 to $124. So I don't think that's really, not that bad, considering the last increases were like, whoa. Now the park hopper tickets for a value date went from $155 to $157. The regular went from $160 to $165, and the peak went from $169 to $174.
See, the thing with these ones is that they're a couple dollars, which isn't too bad because you get some of these ones where it's like a $10 increase, which on the surface doesn't seem bad when you think about it by yourself. But then you think about if a family of 6 is going, that's $60, which is a lot. That $60 could be put towards a meal or something like that. So $60 does add up. But with this, it doesn't hit as hard because, I mean, for a family of 6, you're talking about like a $12. I mean, that's not even one person's meal. So, I mean, anytime it's under a meal, you're not looking too shabby with the increase. So, I think there's not a lot of room to complain about this one. And I know that there's people complaining. I'm not looking at them complaining because otherwise I'd have to punch them in the lip. But I'm sure there are people complaining.
So let's get to the annual passes.
Also not too bad.
No. All right, so the SoCal Select and the regular SoCal actually only increased by $10. So the Select was $329 and it went to $339, and the SoCal went from $459 to $469. The Deluxe Pass actually went from $599 to $619. So that's only a $20 increase there. And good news for us.
No increase.
No increase for the Signature or the Signature Plus. And also no increase for the Premier Passport. So that's a good thing.
I don't know if they're ready with that whole Max Pass bundling thing, or if they're just going to try and roll that out by itself at the $299 price, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's supposed to start in March, right?
I don't know.
We talked about it coming.
Right, we talked about that whole, because I had just seen it as a rumor, obviously, of it being included with the pass.
Right.
And being as a Max Pass season pass, basically. So I don't even know if that's real. But I think definitely dodged a bullet on the 2 big passes, or the 3 big passes not getting any kind of increase. And as far as the other passes go, you're looking at with the increase, you're looking at less than $1 per month increase on your monthly payment. With the other ones, I would say probably maybe a dollar increase, $1.50 increase on the Deluxe or something per month. I mean, nothing that's going to break your bank.
Yeah. So like I said in the beginning, the payment plan was not taken away. It's still there, so people don't need to be like all nervous or
not yet.
Yeah, mad that it's been taken away. Actually, I saw a post on one of the groups I follow, and someone asked about the payment plan being taken away, and the person who runs the page said something like, yeah, only if you can, the rumor was that if you already had it, you'd be able to keep it. So that person posted that. I was like, no. Payment plans are still available, because people don't read things or something. I don't know. I think it's funny when people actually, the news came from ABC7, and that's the news I posted, and that person actually posted the same news from ABC7, but obviously they didn't, actually read things or read other information about the posting. So, yeah, don't need to worry about that. Payments are still there. And you know what's funny is the last time the prices changed, this was I'm talking about, it was the October 2015.
You're talking about passes.
Yeah.
Right.
When yeah. But my point was
that was when they got the new passes.
Well, when we were getting the news that the price is going to change, blah 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 blah, and I was like, okay, well my pass expires that day. What do I do? Do I renew it now? And I actually text Anthony. You just renew it now. So it was 11 o'clock at night, around there, and I started to renew my pass online. As soon as I was done, the site was down. And,
I remember that.
Yeah. So actually, somehow, I don't know how, Disney actually did it in a way that it was down for a little bit, and boom, it was back up. By midnight, I went online, and the new prices were there. So they must have found.
I think they were for some reason for a first time ever they were ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Which is why it's so surprising that they actually announced on Saturday officially to the news that they were going to be raising the prices.
So I'm just going to go real quick with the payment plans that is posted here. I'm just going to do the 3 passes that we talked about. The SoCal Select, like I said, is $339, and the payments are $20.17 a month, and you do have to put the $97 down.
Only $97.
Yes,
for that one.
Well, it's the down payment is the price of one park ticket. It's always been that way. Your down payment you have to put down.
Oh,
so all the passes.
I don't know why I thought I had paid $99.
No, we probably did then, but remember
but now it's the equal to the lowest tier.
Yes.
Oh.
So the Southern California is $469, and it's $31 a month with the $97 down. And the deluxe is now $619, like we said, and it's $43.50 a month with the $97 down. And don't forget, people, if you guys want to go get a pass, you have to put that $97 down, or you can put as much as you want down. You don't have to do $97. You have to do at least $97. You can do $200, $300, whatever to make your payments lower. They will do that, so that's a good thing. But
you know, now there's even more since the signature didn't go up. There's even more argument now to how much of a waste deluxe is when it's now within only like $150 or something like that. Because how much is signature?
Is it like $8.99 or something?
Oh, I thought it was $7.99.
Oh, okay, maybe it is.
Oh, maybe it is $8.99. I don't know. Either way. But they're not offering the parking anymore with the with deluxe, huh?
No, I think it's
parking
just. So yeah, annual passes and regular ticket prices and the parking went up, but you guys knew it was going to happen. But he has a SoCal.
As long as he doesn't let his expire.
All right, and we were talking about the Max Pass, and I'm looking at the article again, and actually it says later this year that there's going to be coming, so I actually didn't have a date. So I thought it was in March, but maybe not in March. It's going to be coming soon.
So there's a possibility that the Max Pass could still be added to the annual passes, and there'll be an annual pass increase for Signature and Signature Plus in the fall.
Probably.
Hey, speaking of annual pass, AP Days is here.
Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't suck completely.
You know what? Anthony's actually pretty happy with AP Days this time around.
I think it might be helped that a certain character kicked off, even if I didn't get to have my picture taken with him. Oodalali.
What'd you call me?
Golly, what a day. Hey, it's AP Days.
I thought we just said that.
You know, I noticed it says AP Adventures at the top.
Yeah.
Is it really AP Days or is it AP Adventures? Or is it AP Adventures of Days?
It's AP Adventure Days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, AP Days kicked off on Friday, and we were there for that to see what was going on. People were saying it was long lines to get in during the mornings because people rushed down there to get there early and to get in. When I got there, it wasn't that much of a wait. The first thing we did was actually go into the line to get our AP button.
We had already gotten into the line to get inside when we realized where the AP button line was. So we were like, well, we'll just go in here first and then we'll get the button.
Yeah, so I mean,
because it wasn't plainly marked.
Oh, you see the signs?
Well, I mean, I saw the sign you get the sign over here, but then it's not until if you see the big long line, you go straight for the big long line.
Well, that's the very first line we saw was the button line.
Oh, well, see, the button line was over here against the wall by Star Trader.
Okay.
Hidden. So when you come around the corner from the front of Star Trader, the first thing you see is the big long line going in front of Path of the Jedi.
Well, when we got there, the line for the buttons was sticking out.
When we got there was nobody in line for buttons, which was weird.
So that's the first thing we saw. I'm like, oh, what's this for? And we saw the buttons. All right, let's get this first. And then we saw the line to get into the Welcome Center. And it wasn't that bad to get in. We didn't wait that long to get into that. So the first thing I did was just look around and see what was going on. I saw the big AP merchandise store that they set up there. I was like, yeah, good idea. Let's make some money off these AP people. And, I saw the big Main Street Electrical Parade photo op. And that's actually the first thing that I did because we walked in and then they're all, if you guys want to get a picture with this, the line starts right here. There was no one in line. Okay, cool. So I went in line and took that picture. And then I was just looking at the merchandise stuff and especially just seeing what they're, what's going on. I saw the photo op over there.
I like the glow in the dark shirts.
Yeah, I actually do want one. I want one of the shirts, but I'm hearing they're going pretty fast. I think I heard today that the women's were sold out.
Really? Well, the women's is actually really, I think it's nicer. It has that design on it that's on the program.
Yeah, I like that one too. But
it's really cool, but they do have a lot of cool stuff. They got a hat, they got a water bottle, glasses.
What did you think about the AP pin?
The one that just says AP.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're doing with that crap.
I don't either.
It's boring. It's a boring. It's that because that's the orange one, right?
It was purple, I believe.
Oh, it's purple.
Yeah,
whatever. Because it's basically the same as the buttons that they were giving out during.
Yes.
I don't know what they're doing. That's been stupid because they got this really nice design that they could put on a pin. That's why you put it on a button.
Exactly.
Because buttons, not pins.
So yeah, like I said, I just went there, looked what was going on. I saw everyone sitting there charging their phones because they don't bring a portable charger. Those are just those stupid people over there.
That charging area is way nicer than standing around those little tables.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
At Blue Sky Cellar, though, that's for sure.
Yes, those are really. They have couches and stuff like there.
Palm trees.
And then I saw the activity center or activity area, all the coloring or whatever's going on. That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. It's nice, and like I said, I knew that they weren't going to open up the upstairs. I knew that wasn't going to happen, and they do have some video games there because Michael was saying something about video games, but you do have to pay for them. They do have a change machine next to the video games. So
I was wrong about where the opening was, but whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's actually just around the corner from where I said,
but you do have the line to get in, and it is in the congested area. And Michael was there yesterday, and he basically said that people who were coming off the ride or whatever, going through that area, got mad because they stopped them to let the APs go in. I mean, I don't understand why you're going to get mad because it's not like you're going to be sitting there for over a minute or anything. It's just like, hold on, please, get some people in the building, and then you do that, whatever. But that's what he was telling me, that people were getting mad about that.
Well, instead of having them going across that way, what it should have done is it should hug the building and go across, and they should have the line where it hold the line right there at the entrance to Star Trader, and then have the line go around that corner rather than having it go across, because now it's not only is it going across the exit and the pathway to the for Space Mountain, but then it's also crossing the entrance to Path to the Jedi.
Right.
And it's obviously crossing the exit to Path to the Jedi. So it's like, well, what are you guys doing? How many different entrances and exits are you trying to congest with this line? And obviously, we haven't heard anything about how long the line got on the weekend.
Right.
Like on Saturday, I'm sure the line must have got at max, whatever its max would be on a Saturday.
Michael said that there was a lady who was like pushing people, and basically that she didn't care and she kept pushing and even tried to push a lead cast member.
Where was she?
This is over there trying to get into the AP days or something.
She was trying to get into AP days.
I don't. Hold on.
Or into the Welcome Center, I mean.
Yeah. He said in the entrance of the AP dates, and then a big cast member came and stood in front of her. I don't know why he didn't get video of that. He usually does.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know why people have to be so stupid. It's a simple thing. Just stand in line for a little bit, and you get in. If you don't want to stand in line, then don't get in line. It's that simple.
And then, he actually did go to do the photo shoot.
Right. I saw his pictures of that he got to be. As I mentioned before, or as I alluded to before, the characters, of course, were from Robin Hood, which had been teased earlier in the day on Friday. Before any of us had gotten there, they had teased with a picture of the backdrop that they were using, and it said "Oodalali, golly, what a day!" And then it had a picture of the backdrop. So of course, everybody, you figured it was going to be Robin Hood characters.
All right, but what I'm trying to get to is the fact that they actually didn't do a good job taking this photo. He got in a big old group photo with people from his Facebook page, and he was like, "Oh, where's the forest?" Because basically the photographer didn't actually
Tell them where to stand.
Yeah, and you can see the background of the blue wall and...
Well, first of all, the backdrop is not big enough for the Sheriff Nottingham's hat.
Well, I think if
there's nothing you could have done about that, but...
They could move them over a little bit
Well,
this
no,
way.
I know. I'm just trying to say that his hat is sticking up above the... But yeah, they definitely... I think we've well established that the PhotoPass people don't know what they're doing most of the time.
Unless it's Lucas.
Right, unless it's Lucas, because most of the time they're up there and they're just shooting random pictures. Yeah, I think we've established before that PhotoPass photographers aren't very good at taking pictures, and that just proves it even more that they can't even get a backdrop into the picture correctly.
Well, you know what? I hopefully will get to the parks and go and take some pictures over there. The only thing I did was the electrical parade sign, but you know what is really cool is that they actually finally figured out a system for taking pictures with characters.
Right, I was just about to get to that.
And they're doing a fast pass system and telling you when to come back to take your picture, which is actually an awesome idea. I mean, it's like about time they actually figured that out.
It's better than using a bunch of chairs as a fast pass.
Exactly. So I think that's a good idea. We didn't do that when we were there. I believe they were saying the time to come back was 4:30, and I was like, you know what? I'll just come back. I'll do it later. We'll come back another day and I'll do it. I didn't feel like doing it that day, but I think the reason for that was because hey, they have a fast pass system, and I said, hey, that's pretty cool, and I'll use that. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, at the time when Rebecca and I had went by, they were not accepting until 5 o'clock, and I had to leave and go to work well before that, so I wasn't able to get pictures with the characters. I was able to take quick pictures of Robin Hood and Friar Tuck, which is basically, I wanted the picture of Robin Hood, and I got it. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have gotten a picture of PJ, a.k.a. Prince John, and the Sheriff of Nottingham, but I'll most likely miss out getting pictures of them. In fact, it wasn't even until the next day, I think, or later that day, when I found out about the sheriff and PJ.
Now, I guess earlier that day, or I guess in the morning, there was a long line for the merchandise. There was tape on the ground. The queue tape.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that they weren't using it.
Yeah, when we were there was like no one in line. There was like 4 registers open and 2 registers being used.
When I first came in, the merchandise stand had the feel of like a merchandise stand at a concert.
Yes.
Where it's just a bunch of people standing in front of whoever's helping you.
Yes.
And I'm like, let me get the Motley Crue shirt and the Winger shirt.
There you go.
And some dog tags. No, but seriously.
That's what I thought too when I walked in.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is a concert.
But then, yeah, I saw the. But then later we went back by there, and that's when we noticed the menu items, the dining items. But then that's when I noticed the tape on the ground, and I actually did notice that the line, there was more people there, and that smart people had actually shown up and were actually following the tape rather than just standing in line like they're at a concert.
I just want to let you guys know that you can actually pick up that merchandise over at Disneyland on Main Street. They do have all the merchandise there too. If you guys are actually going to the parks and you do want to get that merchandise,
just go to Disneyland as soon as you walk in the park.
Go there first, because chances are they won't be in line there. When we were there was probably about 3 or 4 people in line waiting to get something when we were taking our pictures. So, yeah, I would stop over there first if you guys are going to get stuff anyway. And chances are, I would say, if they ran out of anything over at the Welcome Center, then there'll probably be some at Disneyland, since people are not stopping there first. So, yeah, I would definitely try that out. Now, like Anthony did mention about the food, they had pictures of the food offerings for APs. Some of that stuff was already been in the parks.
We've eaten it, some of it.
So it's kind of confusing to me, at least, because one of them was that Cheshire Cat cookie,
which we've eaten, and it was good.
So I don't, because they did advertise secret items for APs, but if this cookie's already been out, is it like only, now is it behind the counter and only APs can get it? I don't know. I haven't tried that.
Because then one of the other items advertised is the Fantasia ice cream, which we talked about came out also for the Main Street Electrical Parade party, and then was still in the park the next day, as far as we knew. And we had heard that they said they were going to be selling it until they ran out. So now, is it still being sold until it runs out, or is it just being sold to APs until it runs out, or what's happening with this stuff? Now, there was some new items, so maybe it's all very vague. Maybe the new items are the secret menu. We're just going to have to go and investigate each item.
We have to go eat each item?
That too.
Okay.
Oh, yes, because the Fantasia ice cream, the Caterpillar marshmallow wand, which I mentioned also last week, the Cheshire Cat cookie, the crisped rice treats, also mentioned last week. Oh, and I think we already saw the ladybug macaroons too, right? Yeah, the ladybug macaroons. Macarons were also out. So there's a mixture of a few items here. Whether these are now AP exclusives or not will remain to be seen. But there are some new items here I'm sure you want to mention.
I was just trying to get to, I thought I had a picture of one of the ones we were talking about, which I don't remember the name of it, was the drum.
The raspberry drum cake, which is at the Riverbell Terrace.
Yeah, I actually saw a picture of that, and it looked so good, but I can't find it. I thought I copied it. I don't see it here.
You mean a picture of somebody that actually got it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Much better than the picture that they have, obviously.
Yes, it looked really good. So yeah, that's actually one when we saw that, like, ooh, I want to try that one. So
well, I remember you saying ooh when you just heard the name raspberry drum cake.
Yeah.
Now the one that I'm sure he also said ooh is the Fantasia mousse cake.
Yes.
Which is over at the Blue Bayou. And then there is a pineapple coconut parfait, which is available at Jolly Holiday. Another item that I know this guy's probably going to want to try is the hazelnut tart. I know you like tarts.
Yeah.
That is at Market House. Which is Market House?
Starbucks.
Oh, okay. Now, if this is it, then I'm not really that impressed with the whole secret menu thing, because I thought there was actually going to be actual food. It wasn't just all going to be desserts. Just a note for anybody who might be wondering which video games are inside there. It is Asteroids, Pac-Man, Missile Command, and Donkey Kong Jr.
Cool.
Wouldn't that be funny if they changed video games every week too?
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Bring in Tron.
I know. That's what I was just about to say. They need to bring in Tron and original Star Wars.
All right, and don't forget, they also have the recipe cards, which is actually something I forgot. I forgot even to go even bother to go look for them. Anthony said he went to go look for some, and they were out. They actually have the list here that The recipe cards are available at Jolly Holiday, of course, Pizza Port, Gibson Grill, and the Main Street Refreshment Corner, aka Coke Corner. I don't like that idea of having the recipe cards there. It should be in the Welcome Center. Just grab the recipe cards because now you got to wait in line, and all you want is a damn recipe card.
Yeah, they started that last time with having the recipe cards over there at Paradise Pier or Paradise Garden Grill, and you had to go up there and ask for the from the cashier. And it is stupid because why? Because what if there's a big long line? What if it's busy? What are you gonna stand in line just to get a recipe card?
Yeah.
But then you look rude if you cut to the front of the line. Oh, I just want a recipe card. That doesn't seem that's rude. It seems rude, but you also don't want to stand in line. So it's like, why don't they just have them at? I mean, you got those people standing there at the little counter there. What are they over there behind to the right of where the charging it was. There was those two.
Oh, for your renewal?
Yeah, that. Why they could have had the recipe cards over with those people. Those people weren't doing nothing.
Yeah.
They could have had the recipe cards with the person doing the fast pass.
Yeah.
They could have had it over in the activity at the activity area, because isn't that where they used to have them originally? Was they had them in the activity area? They just had them sitting there, or they used to hand them out. As they're trying to eliminate more and more employees from having to deal with it.
I don't know. I just think it's stupid. They should just leave them, have them in there so you can grab them, and you don't have to go all over the place to grab the cards or whatever. I'm pretty sure the same cards in the same spots, right? I mean, like the same cards in the different areas.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I hope it is.
They're not going to have different ones.
You never know.
Yeah, true. I think it's pretty good that those are really our only two complaints: are the way how they're handling the cards, and the way they're doing the line to get into the Welcome Center. Pretty much would be my only two complaints. I mean, I'm happy with the size and the setup of the Welcome Center compared to any of the previous Welcome Centers that they've done. Whether it be the stupid one that was shoehorned right outside of stage whatever over there last time, or whether it was inside of the stupid Blue Sky Cellar where there was no room to do anything in there. I mean, they finally found a good spot for it.
Well, the next time I'm in the park, I will hopefully get to go try some more treats. I don't know. I would love to try the one in the Blue Bayou, but I'm not trying to go over there and spend $60 on food over there. Maybe ask if I can get it to go. I don't know. But I do want to try that drum cake. All right, so if you guys are annual pass holders and haven't been to AP Days, go check it out.
And if you're a pass holder, stay home.
Exactly. All right, so today, Disney Parks blog announced that the Beauty and the Beast story is going to be coming to life with a limited time experience in Fantasyland at Disneyland Park. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, now that includes a couple different things that I was a little surprised about, because at first I had only seen the thing about the store, which is what the first thing I saw, and I'm like thinking, well, next to Pinocchio, where are they talking about? And then I'm like, is that where Olaf used to be? Is that where it is?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so I mean not where Olaf, but where the frozen princesses used to be.
Yeah.
So where they used to be, that's that little room.
Yeah. So if you guys follow our social medias, you would have seen that I posted about the new Beauty and the Beast store that they set up there right next to Pinocchio. And yeah, where Frozen used to be and Olaf used to be on the roof looking at you talking and everything. It is a Beauty and the Beast store selling merchandise for the movie and everything like that. The only thing about that, well, the night when we went in there to go take pictures, there was two little kids in there, and they thought it was a playground or something. I don't know. They were playing tag, or I don't know.
Yeah, because that was the first thing I had seen, and that had already been changed, right? Didn't you? Somebody posted that, right?
Yeah, I posted that when we went on that.
Yeah, you posted that, right?
Yeah.
That had already been changed. And then, of course, today we get the news that not only is that being changed, but a bunch of other cool stuff. I think the most interesting thing is about Village House.
Yeah.
Getting a complete re-theming? I'm not sure how they're going to do this.
They're just probably going to put props up and maybe curtains or something.
I don't know. Do anything to the outside?
I don't know.
Depends on how long they plan to leave it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, because I just don't think they're going to be shutting down anytime soon. So whatever happens is going to be overnight.
Right. But they're going to change the Village House restaurant into the Red Rose Tavern.
I've never been there.
I heard nobody does things like Gaston in there.
Whoa. Whoa.
So Village House restaurant will change from a Bavarian restaurant into a lively French tavern. Apparently all of the Pinocchio murals will change into scenes from Beauty and the Beast.
That's pretty cool.
They will have been draped with inviting curtains. Each room of the Red Rose Tavern will tell a different chapter of the tale as old as time. Also, the menu itself will change, so that'll be interesting to go check that out. We'll have some of your favorite tastes with a French tavern-inspired twist.
Ooh,
as well as new, speaking of twists, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
As well as new signature beverages. There will be more details on that to coming soon.
Get us fountain drink.
Yeah, they said, yes, you will be able to try our own version of the gray stuff.
Oh,
I don't know what that means. Is that a reference? What is that? Oh, from the song. I get it. Try the gray stuff. Oh, because then in parentheses, I hear it's delicious. Okay. My bad. Now, skipping down real quick, because as I mentioned, twists. Celebration is going to be continuing at Fantasy Fair, and crazy old Maurice's Treats will be on it. Apparently, people have been clamoring for dipping sauces for their twists.
Hey, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea, and I never thought about it.
Me neither.
Because they are introducing dipping sauces to go with your twists over there at Maurice's Treats. And you'll get marinara, strawberry, and even gray stuff.
Hey, we just talked about that.
We did just talk about some gray stuff.
I'm getting scared because what is this gray stuff?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of gray. Horseradish.
I can see if you get that one strawberry twist, the strawberry going to come with it. But then I'm guessing that if you get that garlic cheese twist one, the marinara is probably going to come with that.
Right.
I'd rather have ranch. Just I'm going to say that right now. I'd rather have ranch with that.
I like marinara. It depends on what the gray stuff is.
Yeah.
And then of course, the Royal Theater itself there at Fantasy Fair will be presenting Beauty and the Beast. Now, hasn't that been going on all this time anyways? Or is it coming back after having come back and then left?
I believe it's been on.
Because remember, it came back before Frozen left, and then Frozen left and it was just Beauty and the Beast, wasn't it, again? Well, anyways, even if it's been gone, whether it's been there, it's continuing. And it'll go right along with the theming, obviously, with Maurice's Treats, and then on over to the Village House, a.k.a. Red Rose Tavern. And one, of course, we mentioned about the merchandise location adjacent to the Red Rose Tavern will offer keepsakes, apparel, and collectibles inspired by both the animated Disney feature as well as the new live-action Beauty and the Beast.
Cool.
And the thing that's going to excite a certain cross-section of our audience, that if you've been I think people have been clamoring for this more than they have dipping sauces, to be honest. And that is because, especially after having seen all of the pictures from Florida of this gentleman doing his photo ops and doing push-ups and all sorts of weird things. Yes, that's right. Gaston is finally coming to Disneyland. Now, he's been here before.
Yes.
But it's been a very long time, right?
Well, he was here. I know he was here during the summer and things like that.
But he's not here like he is in Florida, where
No.
he always doing crazy stuff.
I don't think so.
Now, we don't know when any of this stuff is starting yet, so obviously it says stay tuned for dates.
Yeah, they'll probably announce soon when it all starts. Has to be in March.
Somewhere around March.
Yeah.
When the movie comes out on March 17th, so it'll be sometime in that area.
Maybe it'll start on March 17th.
Probably. If not, at least a week before. We'll see. Obviously, speaking of the Beauty and the Beast, we know now that as on Friday, well, actually on Thursday, they started the sneak peek over there at the Sunset Showcase Theater. You know, that place I can never remember the name of because it's always going to be Muppets to me. Now, Diggs was over there to get the sneak peek of the sneak peek.
Yes, on Thursday.
And well, I'm just going to let him tell you how much of a disappointment the AP quote unquote gift is.
Yes.
Continuing to be.
All right. Well, you know, we got.
Although I will say that the Doctor Strange, the keychain was really awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, we went over there, and it started at 4:00, right? I believe it started at 4. We were there early before then, and of course, there's a big line to get in, or, you know, a big line forming. Not to get in, but forming. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to be in that line right now. So there was actually a dance group about to perform over there at the little stage. So I said, oh, we'll just kick it here and watch this. I want to just real quick talk about that little performance because it was funny because of this one kid that stuck out, and he just looked like he didn't want to be there. And just the way he was dancing and just his facial expressions was really funny. I was there with Jose, and it was funny because the kid just stood out to me. I was looking at him and like, dang, he's like basically just going through the motions. And then Jose's like, you know, he texts me and he says, look at the kid on the right. I just started laughing. Like, oh, I know. Like, I've been watching him. So I just thought it was funny. It was a funny story. But we were just sitting there watching that group and that's laughing at that kid because he really didn't want to be there. But later on, you know, we saw the line and kind of went down because the first show, you know, they let in the people for the first show and everything like that. So I said, all right, let's go over there now. We went in there, went in line, blah, 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 blah. And then we get in and we get our glasses, and then they hand us a bookmark that said Beauty and the Beast, March 17th, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh.
He texted me a picture of it, and he's like, what is this shit?
Exactly.
I'm like, it looks like a bookmark.
And
that's not what they gave you, was it? Yep. Well, that sucks.
So yeah, we get a bookmark. I mean, it was just a cardstock bookmark.
We could have made that.
Yeah, it would have
better.
Probably would have been nice if
we could have put it on a button better.
Probably would have been nice if it was more fancy. Maybe something that was durable, that was gonna last long.
It's a bookmark.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they were hitting a new low when they were giving out like small posters, or because pretty much in the last like year and a half, the only good ones have been Zootopia with the ears,
yeah,
which then of course everybody ended up getting, so that was a little unfair.
Maleficent had the horns.
You're right, that was a while ago. Yeah, Maleficent had the horns, and then the keychain from Doctor Strange was really cool. But other than that, I mean, you've had posters, and you had the stupid magnet at Cinderella, which had already been given out, which was just leftovers from a special AP party that they had already given out. So it was like, you know, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, that's all they gave us, and we were like, oh, that's it?
Well, we had the cinch sack for Jungle Book that they gave us.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah, they had the cinch sack for Jungle Book that then they gave us again at the Jungle Book screening in Vegas.
But yeah, so whatever. That's what we get. And, you know, it's funny because we actually saw some of the bookmarks on top of a trash can because someone didn't want them. So, yeah. Anyway, we actually went, and you know what? I forgot to mention that we actually saw Tim. Chicka fresh. He was there, and we actually hung up with him for that premiere or for the sneak peek and throughout the night. But yeah, we saw the sneak peek, and actually it was pretty cool. I thought it was great. I like how they actually incorporate the projections on the walls on the side of the theater. That's pretty cool. And it's funny because Belle's singing, and she's up on a hilltop, and the tip says, What's this? A Sound of Music? Because that's actually when the projections on the sidewalls appear. It's when she's up there. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But I mean, I liked it. Of course,
I saw pictures of the entryway. It looks pretty cool. It's looks like the library, and
yeah.
They got one or a couple of her costumes in there.
They got one costume, and then the props with the rose inside the thing, and then the mirror, and yeah, it looked pretty cool. They actually, if you guys been in the waiting area before you go into the theater, it's actually not a little smaller now because the props are actually more closer than, I would think they'd be back more to let more people in, but now it's kind of closer. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The props they have from the movie is displayed there while you're waiting to go into the theater. But yeah, I mean, it's typical preview, one scene, and then you get the actual trailer that you see on TV all the time now. So it's, whatever. It's pretty cool. I mean, I like the opening song. It's probably my favorite song in the movie. You guys should go check that out.
Check it out, 4D.
Yes. Get that water sprayed on you.
Yeah, get sprayed with that water. And poked in the butt.
That they don't have that there. They don't have pokies at the Muppets Theater.
They don't?
No. It's a regular theater, like chairs and stuff.
Oh, I didn't remember. Never mind.
Don't get poked.
Don't get poked either way. All right, so continuing on with the Beauty and the Beast theme. It was just announced this past Thursday on the 9th, so basically a week ago, that a new Beauty and the Beast stage spectacular will be coming to the Disney Cruise Line, specifically the Disney Dream, which will be the new one departing on November. In November, that's the one coming from LA, right?
Okay. I don't know.
If it's the new one, I believe it's the one coming from California.
Okay.
Because I think that's the new one. But it will be, because I believe the other one, the Florida cruise, is the one that has the Tangled musical, right?
Yes.
So the Disney Dream will be getting the Beauty and the Beast. It will be taking place in a 1,300-seat Walt Disney Theater on the ship. It'll be a style of theater that interlaces classic storytelling elements with cutting-edge technology. It's going to be a fancy-ass theater on a ship.
Cool. Actually, been on a cruise. Been on a couple of cruises. Been a long time. I want to go back on one. Wasn't a Disney cruise, but it was the... Anyway, yeah, I've been on a cruise, and they had, every night you go to the theater and watch the show. You either go to dinner first and then the show, or show, then dinner. But anyway, they had a tour of the theater, and I went on the tour. It's really cool because I got to play with the lighting board. So I can imagine how fancy this one's going to be.
And apparently it's, I didn't guess we had missed all these other announcements that there's other Broadway-style stage productions going on aboard the ship, including the Golden Mickeys and Disney's Believe.
Oh, wow.
Apparently the Golden Mickeys is a dazzling tribute to the enchanting movies of Walt Disney, complete with red carpet. And Disney's Believe is a spellbinding musical about a workaholic father who reconnects with his daughter through a little Disney magic. Apparently that's also on the Disney Fantasy. Oh, no, Golden Mickeys is on the Disney Wonder. So it looks like the Beauty and the Beast most likely so far is going to be exclusive to the Disney Dream.
Oh, cool.
But there will be 3 different Broadway-style musicals showing aboard the Disney Dream.
Oh, dang.
So you'll have 3 different shows to choose from.
Let's go. What are we waiting for?
I don't know. Get money.
Oh, okay.
If we hit the lottery before November 6th, we're going. Let's
okay,
go.
Cool. You heard it here.
Yeah. Or break into a bank.
Whoa, we didn't hear that here.
So that'd be cool.
Yeah, we should try to check that out.
Yeah, someday.
That'd be cool. While we were at the parks on Thursday for the sneak peek of the Peak Sneaks, we actually ran into the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Well, we had a little preview of the building because the top part of the building was exposed.
Oh, my.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. It looks really nice. And I took a picture of that, and then I'm pretty sure you guys saw that on our social medias and everything like that. Yeah, it's really cool until I saw someone post my picture and didn't give me credit. I was really mad about that.
Yeah, that was some bullcrap.
Yeah. I thought it was funny because, they went and cropped it, took out my logo, not knowing that actually if you zoomed in on the picture, it says MousePIRE on there. So, yeah, to you, because it still says MousePIRE. But, yeah, we got a little peek of what they're doing for the new Mission Breakout. The building looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. And at least as of yesterday on Monday, it was still visible because I drove by there while working and you could still see it. And actually, you could see a little bit more. They had a little bit more on the left edge taken off of the scrim taken off. So despite what we had heard that they would be covering it, it was just open for the weekend. Apparently, it was still open as of yesterday. So who knows what's going on there.
Yeah. But I thought it was pretty cool to get a little peek of that and see what it's going to look like.
Yep.
All right, so real quick, I just want to mention that the Soundsational Parade will be coming back on March 24th. For you who have missed the parade, it will be making its return. So that's pretty cool. I like the parade. I don't care how old it is. I don't care. Those people say, oh, we need a new parade. A new parade would be cool. I wouldn't argue with that, but, Soundsational is still an awesome parade. I like it. I like the drums. And I think it's also cool when you see Mickey up there jamming and on the drums. That's pretty tight, too. So, Soundsational will be back on Friday, March 24th. So, hurry up and get to Main Street and sit on the curb, save your spot, and watch the parade. Okay, maybe not.
Make sure you get there before the electrical parade people do.
Yes.
Are you hungry? Well, they are. It's time for Fat Time in the Parks.
All right, yeah, Fat Time in the Parks time. So, on Friday, I got to try the raspberry chocolate chip cookie. Pretty good. Pretty good. I've had the white chocolate chip cookie before.
Where was that from?
I got that at Pooh Corner, but they're at all of them.
Okay, so it's just basically one of the normal candy
Yeah.
store items.
Yes.
Okay.
But I always wanted to try the raspberry cookie because we all know we just talked about raspberry earlier, and I like raspberry.
Right.
So, yeah, I got to try it. It was really good, but the only problem I have is, besides not having milk, that's my problem because I didn't get milk, but I think it could have a little bit more raspberry taste to it. Instead of having a hint of raspberry, have more of a raspberry taste to it. That would be great. But
now, that's one of those big puffed up cookies, like
Yes.
the chocolate chip one
Yes.
that we tried that one time.
Yes.
Okay.
It's puffed up. That's why I needed some milk because I was like, oh my God, I need some milk with this. But yeah, it was really.
That's a big cookie.
It is a big cookie. And I want to say thank you to Jose because Jose did buy it for me because he saw me eyeing it and he grabbed one. I actually heard him say, let me get 2 of them. I thought he was taking it home for someone, but no, he gave it to me. I said, oh, cool, thanks. So yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed the cookie and actually posted it on social medias. And Fernando Xavier Hubbard did comment on that.
Did he approve?
Yes, he did approve. I believe he said he's had that one before or something. So, yeah, it's a very, very good cookie. I highly suggest you try it. But you know what? I suggest you try all the cookies they have there. I really do like the white chocolate chip cookie. That one's really, really good, too. I'm hungry now.
I want a Cheshire Cat cookie.
Yeah, you know what? We should do one day, just go have cookies all day.
Ooh. Cookies all day. Should have a cookie pass. So for well over a year now, we've been talking about the whole Eastern Gateway and security and, are they finally going to do a permanent security? Then you've heard us talk about businesses on Harbor bitching and moaning about, the bridge, blah, 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 is going to cut off our business. Well, we've got some news now. Diggs has got some news this week that, we're not really sure how to take it. I mean, it can mean a few different things, but let me have him give you the the gist of what he's heard first, and then we'll have a little discussion about it. And definitely your next segment of Anthony's general grievances.
All right, so we're getting word that the city actually...
The city of Anaheim, obviously.
Yeah, is killing the Pumbaa structure project, probably due to the businesses complaining and things like that. I know people haven't heard anything about it yet, so we're just, like I said, we're hearing this is going on. And at first, I thought it was just a bridge thing. And then when I asked about if it's just a bridge or the whole thing, they said basically it was the whole thing.
Now, the thing about that, I just want to just maybe put some clarity onto that, the way that that's worded. It may say all of it, but the thing about that is that the project as a whole may be just one whole project. The parking structure, the security checkpoint, the bridge, the whole Eastern Gateway may be one big, huge project, not separate entities.
Well, I asked that. I said, so is it the structure or the bridge? And the answer was no structure, no bridge.
Right, because if the city council is approving on the plan, it's the whole plan. They wouldn't approve. They wouldn't be saying, "Oh, well, we approve of this, but not of this." If their job is to approve the whole plan, it would be to approve the whole plan. So what Disney would have to do is if the city council is going to reject the whole entire plan because of the bridge or the inconvenience to the businesses on Harbor, then that doesn't necessarily mean that the Pumbaa parking structure is completely out the window. It just means that as the Eastern Gateway plan that we know it's out. Because then obviously they don't want anything to do with the bridge. But it doesn't mean that necessarily that Disney can't go back to the drawing board and redraw up the plan minus the bridge somehow. And then that the city council could still approve the plan just without the bridge. You understand what I'm saying about how it would be a separate thing? That's the way I'm speculating that it could be going, is that they're saying no to the whole thing because it's all together, it's all one plan. But if they were to get rid of the bridge idea or whatever Disney decides to do, one way or another Disney needs the parking structure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. One way or another, Disney's going to build the parking structure because it's their property. They're going to build the parking structure. They obviously need the city's permission to build into, areas that are not part of Disney property, which is why they needed approval on the whole plan. But if the city's going to say no, then Disney's just going to say screw you, and they're probably still going to build the parking structure. It's just not going to incorporate into Harbor Boulevard.
Well, from what this person told me is basically Disney is going to say a big F you to the city and to the surrounding hotels. The plan is that they're going to make it where you have to take some sort of transportation in to the areas. Seems like they're going to be basically blocking access to get into Disneyland or the resort by walking in. So there will be no walking in access. But I just want to, just let you guys know this is what we're hearing. Of course, none of this has been published anywhere, but this is just a source I have that told me about this the other day while we were talking about the fire in the structure.
I think the city's kind of pissed at Disney for having acting entitled. But what I don't understand is that why did they give them the tax break with money specifically to do what they're trying to do? That's what that money was meant for. It was meant for expansion. I'm sure that for the city to approve the tax break, that Disney would have had to tell them, at least for the most part, exactly what all the things they wanted to do. And it would have included expansion, such as Star Wars Land, blah, blah, blah. But it would also have included the Eastern Gateway, and then like the hotel the hotel that they're going to build on the west side and all that stuff. I mean, I'm guessing Anaheim is the city is probably just trying to put on the best front they have for the business owners. If the business owners are complaining, they have to at least make it look like they're going to stand up for the business owners, because I guess, because that's what a city council does.
Yeah.
But I just think it's really stupid. I mean, first of all, I don't see, the city's not going to tell Disneyland they can't build a structure. They're going to build a structure. Disneyland's going to build a structure no matter what the city says. They have the money to build the structure. It's not like when they built Mickey and Friends, where the city built it for them, paid for the structure to be built, and then they had to buy it off the city later. Contrary to what a lot of people may think,
Right.
Disneyland does own the Mickey and Friends structure. But Disneyland has the money they already bought the land that they want to build the new structure on. They already tore down at least one building. They're waiting to kick out Social Security so that way they can tear down the other building, I'm sure. Unless Social Security's already out. I don't remember what I said when I said the date was that they had to be out. That was a long time ago. They already bought the one hotel so that way they could tear the hotel down. Everything's already done. They just need the people to shut up, do what they're told, be happy that Disneyland allows you to be there. Disneyland should just take over all of Harbor Boulevard and say, screw you. We own all of it. They should just start throwing money at all those people and just take over the whole damn street or whatever. Because then they could turn around and tell the city, screw you. We own this. We're no longer part of Anaheim. We're now Disneyheim. I don't know.
Or Disney Nation.
We are now Disney Nation. We are now the city of Disneyland. And we are not the Disneyland Resort. We are now the city of Disneyland. Doesn't Florida basically, don't they have a city? Doesn't Disney World have a city, kind of?
Probably.
Or not really? I don't know. I know they have addresses. And it's not like any city that's not like Orlando or something like that. But I don't know. I've said before how stupid I think these businesses on Harbor are being. They're being really stupid. That they should be on their knees kissing Disney's butt, because Disney gives them all their business. What's going to happen to all these other businesses besides the hotels if Disney goes through with the supposed threat about cutting off foot traffic? Oh no.
Whoa.
You guys are gonna be screwed. You know who's not gonna be screwed? You know who's gonna be screwed? Denny's is gonna be screwed, the one right across the street. You know who's not gonna be screwed? Denny's and IHOP that are up the street.
Right.
Because people could still drive there. Nobody's gonna drive to the Denny's that's right across the street. Because you know what? Nobody's gonna be walking there anymore either. I don't know. I made it sound like I had a big rant prepared, but I mean, it's just a continuation of a rant that we've been doing all this time, talking about how they're complaining. Best thing to do is just wait and see how it plays out. I mean, we're just getting this one thing. We haven't even really gotten confirmation on this. And even if it is true, Disney's going to have to go back to the drawing board, because Disney has to have something in place before Star Wars Land opens.
Yes.
And their time is running out to get a parking structure built and to get all that going, because they need to have the parking structure built by spring of 2019 if they want to have it ready for Star Wars Land. So Disneyland knows what they're doing, and if the city council is going to screw them, well, then they're just going to turn around and screw Anaheim somehow, because at heart, Disneyland and George Lucas are just alike. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard the story about how George Lucas wanted to build his new studio up there by Skywalker Ranch, but then the city council up there refused. They rejected his plan, and they told him that he couldn't build a movie studio there. So basically, that was what made him, because he wanted to do the Star Wars movies there. That's what made him turn around and basically sell Lucasfilm to Disney, was because he couldn't do it himself. because they wouldn't give him permission to build a studio. What did he do? He turned around, and now he's getting ready, or he already has. He's all that land that the city council wouldn't let him build a studio on. He's going to turn it into low rent housing. So he did a big FU to his city. Well, Disneyland, Disney needs to do the same thing to City of Anaheim, because City of Anaheim wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Disneyland. They need to just be kissing Disneyland, but they don't know. They just think that they have, I don't know. They're stupid. So speaking of Florida, just real quick, they had a couple of announcements this last week, that they would be getting that Rivers of Light finally has a date.
Yeah, so everybody's been complaining about that too.
Yeah, people are going to be complaining about that for like over a year. There was even rumors that I heard that River Light wasn't even going to happen, that Rivers of Light was just going to become a new show at Avatar.
Right.
On Pandora Land. But no, it has an official date, and it's opening this weekend.
Yay.
If you're listening to this on Thursday, it opens tomorrow.
Cool.
In case you didn't know what it was, Rivers of Light is a new show that will be basically on the water, and there'll be a lot of light, and imagine it's basically kind of like World of Color, something like that.
Hey,
but it's on a river instead of a lake.
Well, real quick, I was thinking about watercolor. I wonder if they're going to have those foam bubble things too, like watercolor has.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And that is over at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And then also announced the same day was the Magic Kingdom will be getting a brand new fireworks show called Happily Ever After, and that will debut on May 12th. So on Sunday, Grammys were yesterday, right?
Sunday.
Okay, so I was right the first time. So the Grammys were on Sunday, and despite what everybody may think about stupid stuff having to do with the Grammys, you know what's important to this podcast? John Williams.
Oh, I thought you said me.
Oh, okay. John Williams.
Yes.
And he won the Grammy for The Force Awakens.
Cool.
So he won the Grammy for Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media. Okay, well, I was going to try and tell you how many Grammys that is for John Williams, but this article doesn't tell me. So I want to say it was like something like 20-something.
Oh, wow.
To go along with his 5 Academy Awards. And it's good because I think he beat the movie that he lost the Academy Award to last year. Because didn't he lose to The Hateful Eight?
I don't know.
Morricone's. I believe he lost to a Morricone's soundtrack for The Hateful Eight. But this time he beat them. So yeah, John Williams. Just had his 85th birthday last week and wins a Grammy.
Yay.
Oh, and supposedly there's rumors that he is actively starting to score The Last Jedi.
All right.
So, and one final thing is that this Saturday, the 18th, Rebels returns. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
And it will continue the amazing Mandalore story with Sabine having the Darksaber and all that. So make sure if you guys are big Rebels fans like I am, that you guys watch that on Saturday. It will be returning. All right, well, that's going to bring it towards the end of the show. You know what that means? No?
Mail.
Oh, mail. Yeah, see?
All right, yeah, mail time. And our first email comes from Commander Cody. His subject line is Happy Chocolate Sale at CVS Eve. He says, hello, MousePIRE, Commander Cody here. If you couldn't tell, I'm writing you this email on Valentine's Day. And as you can see, I am very excited for tomorrow's chocolate sales. This past weekend, I went on a road trip and listened to the past 2 episodes. Made my solo road trip very enjoyable. Well, that's cool. That is nice to hear. I think it's really cool to be able to listen to podcasts while you're on the road. I know a lot of people who do listen to our show listens on the way to work. And for those people who have to deal with traffic and things like that, it can commute to work better because they can listen to the show while they wait in the traffic. So that's really, really cool. Anthony's in the bathroom. I'm waiting for him to come back. My questions for this week. If you were an Imagineer, what attraction would you like to create? Many moons ago, it was back when Viper, was it Viper? No, sorry. Ninja. When Ninja came out, it was like, one of the first suspended roller coasters. And we had an idea with me and, well, not me, but, my friends that we used to hang out with a long time ago during our Disney days when we were younger, used to talk about having a car ride in Adventureland, and would be like a suspended roller coaster type of thing. And of course, the coasters would be Caw. If you guys don't know who Caw is, then you guys are. Anyway, just kidding. So yeah, a Caw ride would be pretty cool in the jungle. That was like I said, a long time ago. We used to talk about that.
I like it.
Yeah, it would be pretty tight. And then you can see like Baloo and everybody.
You just want to see Baloo.
Yes, I want to see Baloo.
You know what, really, I got nothing. I really want to just see. I've always thought about just other Star Wars rides. It's not really my idea, but you know what? I really wanted, and it was rumored for so long, and then it just kept dying and dying and dying, was the volcano ride. You remember the rumors about the volcano ride?
No.
It was they were gonna build it in between the river and Big Thunder Mountain. And it was going to be right there, and then it was going to be back behind that, basically into what is Star Wars land.
Oh.
But it was going to be, at the time when the rumors first started going around, it was when SeaWorld and a couple other places had first came out with their wet roller coasters.
Mm-hmm.
Their roller coasters that could go in the water and then attach to the track and then be on the track. And the idea was that it was going to be a roller coaster ride through a volcano.
Oh.
And you were going to be like you were going to be, the boat part was going to be like you were on lava. And fire, exactly. And then you were going to go around, like the roller coaster part would be like inside the volcano.
Cool.
And I always thought that sounded so awesome, and I was always disappointed that it never happened. If anybody else remembers that rumor, email us, mousepire@gmail.com.
All right, next question. What land would you like to create?
They're already doing it. Star Wars land, of course.
Or what about Tron Land?
Ooh, Tron land.
That'd be cool.
Indiana Jones land. Robin Hood land.
If you were bringing someone to the parks that had never been before, and they only had time for one ride in Disneyland and one ride in DCA, which rides would you take them on?
As of right this second, DCA is easy, and that's Soarin' because of the fact that Tower of Terror / Guardians is closed. So I'm going to say Soarin' because Soarin' is still the best ride at DCA. Even though I haven't been on the new Soarin'. I'm still going to say it's the best ride at DCA.
Okay, before you answer the second one, I'm going to say the same thing, only because my favorite ride there is Screamin', but that's a roller coaster, and you can go on roller coasters anywhere.
Right, that's another reason why I picked Soarin', because it's a ride for everybody. It's a great experience visually. It includes all your senses.
Yeah.
Disneyland, I guess I'd have to say, I don't know, Pirates or Haunted Mansion. I can't really pick between the two because they're both iconic for Disneyland, and they both, include they're probably Pirates because there's more animatronics. But then I guess no, not really. Disney Pirates are Haunted Mansion has a lot of animatronics. I wouldn't necessarily say Star Tours because, you know what, maybe you wouldn't enjoy Star Tours if you're not as much of a Star Wars fan. I mean, it's still really cool, but then you may not understand some of the stuff going on. I think Pirates and Haunted Mansion are for everybody. And I'm going to say Pirates probably more than Haunted Mansion because you could get scared in Haunted Mansion. Pirates is just kind of it's rollicking fun.
This one's tough.
You know what though? If I had to pick something really, really off the wall that represents Disneyland, Tiki Room.
Huh. Okay.
What did you think I was gonna say?
I thought you were gonna say Mr. Toad's.
Oh,
That's what I was gonna.
let's go to hell.
Yeah. So I would probably go with Hyperspace Mountain, only because how many roller coasters are actually in the dark? So, and then, you have the Star Wars going on right now.
But not everybody would do it though. Almost the same concept as Screaming, but not quite as much. But
Yeah.
you got people that won't go on it. I mean, you got Lucas. You got the other Lucas who won't go on Space Mountain. So I mean, I was just trying to kind of keep the same theme that we were kind of established with DCA of rides that everybody could go on. But I mean, yeah, Hyperspace Mountain is definitely a good example.
If I'm taking someone to the park who's not going to go on a ride, well, I wouldn't be taking that person to the park.
Well, yeah,
That's all I'm going to say.
exactly.
So that's my answer. All right, next question is, okay, so he continues with this question, which restaurant from each park? Well, you got to try the corn dog.
Well, you could cheat and you could say DCA, go to the Corn Dog Castle, but then you could still say, I don't know, I've always been partial to Hungry Bear, even though they don't got the good burgers anymore. They've always had pretty good stuff going on over there. I mean, if they had the old burgers and they still had and they had different onion rings, then it'd be a lock. But
I don't know. Corn dog's going to be there somewhere, but I'm just trying to figure out what actual place in either park. I can't think of anything.
there's no places that we really eat like consistently.
Yeah.
If I'd have to just cheat and say Whitewater Snacks.
All right, I'm just going to say this because I've been to both places. We'll say, for me, Corn Dog Castle, DCA, and I would say Blue Bayou at Disneyland. So I've been there, and I do like the food there, so I would say that.
I would have said the barbecue Big Thunder Ranch, but
I would have too. The sausage was good.
ooh.
All right, so Cody says, Commander Cody signing out. Thank you for your email, Cody, and those were actually some awesome questions. I liked them.
Indeed.
All right, now we have our next email from Dan, the man. All right, so subject line mail time. That's what it says. Actually, the whole thing I just said. The subject line is subject line mail time. All right, so he says, well, hello.
Hi there.
So first, gotta say thanks for the advice. Can you hear the sarcasm? About the Main Street Electrical Parade video. So a couple emails ago, I mentioned that, or I told him, it was an email. I was telling him basically because he filmed the parade and I said he was holding his phone the wrong way because it wasn't the way it was meant to be seen online. And he says, I actually filmed it like that so you could see how tall the floats were based on how I was sitting on the ground. Should have known you'd critique me, but what are you going to do? You know? You know what? I am giving a public service announcement to everyone who films, okay? That's what I was doing. I explained that to you. If you're going to film something and post it online, put your phone the correct way because I myself can't stand watching videos like that. So it was just a public service announcement to anyone and everyone. And like I said, you should pass that on to all your friends too. So when you're online and you see a video like that on Facebook, you should tell your friends, hey, you're doing it the wrong way. All right. So he says, hey, actually got an AP button and a shirt. It's black. That's why I got it. Didn't get my picture with Robin Hood and the villains. They used FastPass for that and I was too late. The parks were super busy on Sunday. Just did the AP thing and had dinner before heading out. My son is picky and only really likes chicken nuggets, so it was off to the Golden Horseshoe. We went. Been here plenty of times, but actually noticed that they had a crispy chicken salad. Since my fat times have been plenty, I'm trying to have not so fat time, but went for it. I was pleasantly surprised. Lettuce, cherries, tomatoes, carrots, cucumbers, black beans, and maybe garbanzo. I don't remember. Not like I wrote it down. Well, you should have. Just kidding. Not criticizing or anything. I ate it. They started with Italian dressing, but I opted for ranch because, well, most things taste better with ranch. I liked it enough to have it again. I agree with the ranch. Everything tastes better with ranch and bacon.
Ooh, bacon.
He says he's going to be heading to the parks on Wednesday morning and probably again on Friday to get my new button. Catch you soon. Dan out. Awesome. All right. Thank you for your email, Dan. Really appreciate it. He did warn me that he was going to be sending an email about my critique to him. All right. So last email is from Michael the Mail Guy. Michael the Mail Guy here. All right. First question. He says, how delayed do you believe is the train and the rivers? Do you believe they are back on schedule? I don't believe they're on schedule. I do believe that the last thing we said, they were pushed back to August. So we just got to wait on that. I believe it will be August right now. That was told by one of the engineers there. So they have no reason to make up a date, you know. Next question. Why doesn't Disney announce food prices going up? Probably the same reason they don't announce merchandise prices going up. I remember one of the last things I talked about was the Made with Magic stuff. The Made with Magic was $25. It was 23 something plus tax was $25. Now it's up to $30. So, you know, they're not going to say, hey, we're raising food prices. Michael was there, like we said yesterday, and he said the kids' meal went up because, you know, he likes the kids' meal hamburger. So he said that prices went up on that. Yeah, they're not going to announce, hey, our food prices went up. All right, he says, in the situation with the fire in the parking structure, do you believe Disney will do anything for the guests that lost their cars in the fire? Well, it does say you are parking at your own risk. You know, Disney's not responsible for any theft, damage to your car, so they're going to stick with that, especially if it wasn't their fault that the cars were set on fire.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if guest relations did do something for those, at least those people that did have cars affected. I wouldn't be surprised if they did get some passes or something, but then I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't get anything.
I mean, I'm sure, like I said earlier, they probably helped them get home or whatever they needed to do, you know, once they found out it was their cars. So, you know, I think at least Disney would do something like that to them. They're not going to do anything to the people who were complaining because they forgot their jacket in the car. All right, so he says, let's schedule a MousePIRE Disney movie party. Watch movies we have not seen. Probably movies that Anthony hasn't seen. I don't know.
Whatevs.
Now, Michael the Mail Guy's tip of the week.
Foodie tip. Everyone loves bread bowls, but did you know you can buy the bread bowl without the soup?
No.
I did. Buy some bowls and take a picture of your special bread bowl menu. Till then, this is Michael the Mail Guy saying bye. All right, so thank you for your email, Michael. Thank you, Dan, and also thank you, Commander Cody. Nice hearing from all you guys. And if anybody else has any awesome questions, tips, your own tip of the week, your own suggestions for anything you guys like to do in the parks, your own secrets for the parks, anything like that, simply email them.
MousePIRE@gmail.com.
Like to mention, let you guys know that Moana is coming on video on March 7th. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I like that chicken. Hey is awesome. Oh yeah, he's not a chicken. He's a rooster. Whatever. He still goes cluck 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 cluck. So yeah, Moana on video. March 7th. Can't wait for that. You can actually go online and reserve your copies at Target, probably Walmart. I don't know. I know Target does, and Amazon, all that kind of stuff. Reserve your copies now. Oh, a Disney store too, right? I think you reserve your copy and you get a something.
Usually like a lithograph or something.
Yeah, I heard someone did that today. So Moana on video, March 7th.
And also Doctor Strange should be coming out around that same time, if not the same day, I believe. It actually came out today, the 14th, for digital download.
Do you have a special occasion coming up? Looking to personalize your trip with a keepsake? Create customized buttons for birthdays, engagements, family vacations, even bridal parties, or just because. Check out buttonsbydiggs.com today. Buttons by Diggs, Buttons by Diggs. Remember, those are buttons, not pins.
All right, that's going to do it for us this week. Hey, we still didn't start the fire.
No, it wasn't me.
Nope. We still didn't start the fire. But remember, you should be parking at that other parking lot that doesn't exist.
No, don't park there.
Don't park there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, park there, but don't park there.
Yes.
Park there, but it doesn't exist. You can't park there.
Yes.
Wait.
We never told you about it.
Park at Pumbaa. Oh. Park at the convention center. Anaheim Stadium. I don't know. Just don't park at Mickey and Friends. It's going to burn up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's perfectly safe.
Yeah.
Just don't park there when the same person who parks there again caused the fire. Wait, what? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Hey, so, what's coming up at the parks?
And if you're an annual pass holder, just go. Don't forget to go check out AP Days.
Oh yeah, AP Days.
It's pretty cool. It's fun.
You guys have until we haven't really established when the week is when the
Right.
AP Days week is ending. In the past, it's been Sundays when the week is ended.
Right.
But then again, in the past, they've also had the weekend on Thursday or Friday. So we're not really sure yet. We will find out probably this weekend. No, I don't think they're going to be changing. Obviously, that Main Street Electrical Parade backdrop is probably going to stay consistent throughout the whole thing. The only thing that'll be changing will be the character backdrop and obviously the characters themselves.
And don't forget to go check out the sneak peek of Beauty and the Beast. I think it looks really awesome. And like I said, the very first song that opens the music is great. And I think Emma Watson did a great job with that, even though a lot of people don't like her. So go check that out, and maybe they'll give you a bookmark. I don't know.
Well, I don't like Ariana Grande, so what do you think about that? People, shut up. Movie's going to be great. Looking forward to it. Definitely go check that out. Also,
Go on a cruise.
yeah, get on a cruise. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Jason,
Hey.
who managed to find this guy before he found me, just because this guy was actually posting where he was.
Yes, I always do that.
Oh, except for when he posts after 4 or something or 5, and he doesn't say where he is, and then somebody gets mad at him for not saying where he was.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
People think that we do a schedule in the parks, and they are, where are you going to be at 5 o'clock? I don't know. I have no idea where I'm going to be at 5 o'clock, so...
Hey, if you guys want to know where they are, or where we are, or where whoever is, you can always post to the page. You can message. There's several different ways you can find out where we are if you're really that much into finding out where we are. There's all kinds of ways you can find out rather than just sitting around by your social media waiting for us to post where we are.
Yeah.
Because that's not always going to happen. Because it's been well established on this podcast that this guy forgets stuff.
Yes.
So he's not going to always be able to remember to post, oh, we're sitting at blah, 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 blah right now. Well, that's not always going to happen. So you guys just have to kind of, if you guys are in the park and you guys want to know where we are, message us somehow, post something to the page. We'll see it at some point, and especially if it's a message, you're going to see it right away. So we'll get back to you right away.
Yep.
So on that note, you can find out what we're doing on the social media. MousePIRE on Facebook, at MousePIRE on Twitter and Instagram. As usual, I am at Empire for Life, Empire_for_life on the Twitters.
And you can find me on Instagram at Baloo1313. And also don't forget to follow Buttons by Diggs on Instagram, and you can find out when your buttons are being sent out.
Buttons by Diggs, Buttons by Diggs. Oh, wait, somebody else is doing that song.
Chicka, chicka, chicka.
Fresh. Buttons, not pins.
Speaking of Buttons by Diggs, hey, don't forget to go over there and support the MousePIRE podcast by purchasing some MousePIRE buttons. Don't forget we have our MousePIRE logo button, also your stupid button, and dirty. So yeah, go grab some of those and help support the podcast because lately things have been getting expensive over here. So yeah, I need some help on buying some of the stuff that I getting for the podcast. So please help us out and buy some buttons.
All right, so until next time, remember, if there's a fire in the parking structure, get out. Don't stand around waiting for hot chocolate and blankets. So for John Williams, Gaston, and the whole Anaheim City Council, I'm Anthony.
I'm Diggs.
Bye.
This podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. Audio, sound bites, and other clips are property of their copyright holders. All original stuff is ours and property of MousePIRE.com. Anthony's stupid.
You made me do.
Yeah, you can't hold on to food.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this
Cluck, 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 cluck.